Another defeat for Tottenham at home as well. This one really, really hurts. Boos ring around the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium at half-time and at full-time. 3 defeats out of 3 for Igor Tudor so far. Not looking good at all. And the Tottenham players lacking fight. That's the thing. In a relegation battle, but showing no battle, no fight, no grit whatsoever. So very, very negative at the moment feel around the club. And for weeks there's been talk, our Tottenham relegation battle. I think now the expectation is that Tottenham do go down, because if you look at every team apart from Tottenham in this relegation battle, they have something about them, whether it be quality, whether it be fight. You look at Nottingham Forest, they fight, they get a point against Man City. You look at Wolves, even if you go that far down, I'm not even saying they can catch Tottenham, I'm not going to suggest that. They've shown fight, they can win a couple of games. They've won more home games than we have since April. We've won 2 home games since April. They've won 2 home games this week. So it's honestly embarrassing. But on this game as a whole, Crystal Palace weren't that good. I don't think they're playing first, second gear at some points. So wasteful with their chances. I thought they were poor. Apart from Ismail Sarr, I thought was really good, and Walton was good in periods. But it started off so good. Dominic Solanke getting that goal. Well, Palace had their goal disallowed, 5 margins through Sarr themselves. And that's the thing. We responded to that Solanke, and I thought, hang on a minute, a VAR decision going our way, and we score first. Both those things made me think together that it could be our day, but quite the contrary with Van der Ven getting sent off. Sometimes you bet just let Sarr score. We know that Vicario hardly saves anything, so it does probably go in, but you bet just let him score because he's going to score anyway with the penalty. So I get the adrenaline, the emotion gets to Van der Ven, and it's kind of an emotional decision, isn't it? Can't slow himself down or think rationally. Again, that just really cost us. We fell apart after that. I questioned Tudor's changes. Did you really have to make 2? Did we really have to bring Moani off as well as Sousa? I think that's completely the wrong thing to do. Then I'm thinking, we clearly can't defend and we look so disorganised. Why not just go for it? Why did it take so long to bring Simmons and Richarlison on? So really questionable decisions from the manager. And manager's full, really. He's not good at all, but let's be crystal clear. The club is rotten from top to bottom, and he has to start with the blame primarily at the top with ENIC and the board, who have blood on their hands. They've let this club rot to the core, in my view. Consistent failure, in particular on the owner's part, even with this new board. In January, that was neglect. It was neglect of the manager, Thomas Frank, at the time. You can hate on Frank all you like. You can hate on Igor Tudor all you like, but every manager that's come to Tottenham says the same thing. They feel the same thing. The common denominator, of course, same owners, new manager. Even the players are slightly different, but everyone has to take their fair share of the blame, apart from the fans who've been there through thick and thin. The atmosphere is good at points tonight. When they're with the team and the North London derby, it's the best atmosphere I've heard there for a long time. You can't say the fans aren't here, but in reality, we are so poor. I've never seen a team look so disorganised. And where's the pattern of play? Where's the structure about the team? Just there's nothing about us. Defensively, absolutely horrific. Vicario, abysmal. Not good at all. Very, struggling to look at positives apart from Gray that battled maybe to the end. But Tudor has to sort it out, because I think the expectation is from myself and others that Tottenham will be playing Championship football, and that's a really sad reality. It's one of those I'm thinking it could go down to the wire. Now I'm thinking we actually could and probably will go down, and that's a horrible, horrible thought. Where are we going to win these games? Every team coming up has more about them than us, and we are by far the worst team in the league. It's a sad reality how far this club's fallen, but that's what happens when you make poor decisions with managers. That's what happens when you sack Ange. That's what happens when you get the appointment wrong with Frank and then you sack him at the wrong point. Consistent bad decisions with managers have cost this football club so dear, and consistent underfunding, and when you funded, also the poor recruitment on top of that. I could go on and on and on. Palace didn't have to do much tonight. We made it very easy for them. The damage was done in that 10-15 minutes at the end of the first half. Second half was really dull. We had nothing about us. Even with 10 men, we've got to do more. Even with the injuries, 8 senior players out, 9, I should say, actually. We've got to show more about us. So for Tottenham, bad. Really, really bad. We've got nothing. We've given nothing. We've got nothing. So disappointed. Not angry, just sad. But again, Vold, how you feel after the game, it hurts. It hurts. I'm sure it does for every Spurs fan right now. It's a very difficult period, but we have to remain behind the team, the players, the manager, try and fight our way through this. We're going to need to show some fight. We need to bring something to the table. We're not at the moment. But come on, you Spurs, difficult night.